What's up, little enzymes? Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. Today's topic is going to be wedding drama. Before we get started, I just want to say I appreciate all of the comments, the ones that agree with me as well as the ones that don't. As I've said many times, I'm able to learn new perspectives, think about things a certain way or a different way that I wasn't thinking about it before. And while I may not always agree, I appreciate when others can be respectful. I generally try to be respectful of everyone's opinions, even if I don't agree. I try to see both sides on most issues. So with that being said, in the comment section, even if you don't agree, let's keep it cute. Let's keep it demure. Let's keep it demurtsy, okay? I don't block people. I don't delete comments, but I can start. Let's just keep it cute. Let's just keep it demure. Anyways, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All of the links to all of the stories and everything else will be included in the description, and let's get into it. So this first post I actually saw on TikTok, and this guy was talking about how, well, let me just show you. I thought it was so crazy. Let me just show you.
All right, TikTok, tell me if I'm tripping or not. So me and my fiance, we are getting married, right? And to be a part of our wedding, you have to pay $450 for a ticket, and that's for each guest. So we invited friends and family to our wedding. Tell me why everybody that we invited has declined the invitation.
What did you expect? $450 just to attend the wedding. And that's not including if you're out of state, you have to fly in, maybe a potential wedding gift, your outfit. I never in my life have heard people charging an entrance fee for an optional event. Like, nobody told you to have this extravagant $10,000, $100,000 wedding that you, I guess, obviously cannot afford. And so you're making the guests recoup your costs for an event that you did not have to do. You literally can go to the courthouse or plan something on a smaller scale, but I've never heard of this. And $450, that's such a high price.
We already have spent 100, maybe almost close to $200,000.
Yeah, he said 100, almost $200,000 that they've spent on this wedding already. That's ridiculous.
On the wedding. We have already pre-ordered the cake. We already put down a deposit for the venue. We've already got the wedding dress, everything. We pay for everything for the wedding. DJ, photographer, everything for the wedding. And what I don't understand is that y'all spend $400 more money on stupid stuff, but you can't come out to support your family and your friends at the wedding.
No.
Like, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell it.
You are
like,
wrong.
Is me wrong? Let me know. Let me know.
You are wrong, sir. You are very wrong. A wedding is an optional event. And a $100,000 to $200,000 wedding at that? No, you are definitely wrong.
Because y'all pay for tickets, Beyonce tickets, $1,000 tickets, y'all going to...
That's also optional, sir. We also choose to pay that money. You could go or you could choose to go or not.
Gonna meet Chris Brown for $1,000-something, but when it comes to your friends and your family, you can't pay the ticket.
No.
Like, these weddings ain't cheap. Like,
don't have
like
it.
The weddings ain't cheap. Like what's going on? Like, I don't get it. Like, let us know, are we wrong for charging for a wedding? Like, I really, really want to know.
I wonder if he's trolling, because I just can't see this being real. But oh, he turned the comments off. There were comments when I first saw this, but I guess he turned them off because everybody was telling him he was wrong. Okay, he posted this. The internet is so gullible. I love it though. Make sure y'all register to vote. So I'm pretty sure he was trolling, because there's no way. Anyways, let's go to the next story. So I actually had this story saved. This is the original one, but for some reason it was removed by the Reddit filters. So I saw that another channel posted it, so I'm gonna read it off of their post of it so I can actually still be able to read it, and then I'll be able to read the comments off of the original post. Am I the a-hole for refusing to do a favor or help my brother with an element of his wedding, which I already said I won't be attending? My brother is marrying someone who made my life hell through our teens. It started at age 12 and continued into college. Unfortunately, we were in the same one. She was like 20 before she stopped picking on me, and she went out of her way to do it in college too, going as far as almost stalking me over it. She almost got thrown out of college, which might have been what stopped her in the end. That's crazy. I was able to avoid her for the rest of college and didn't see her again for a few more years. My brother is a year older and knew all about the stuff she put me through, as did our parents. So when he brought this girl home as his girlfriend a couple of years ago, I was upset. My sister asked him what he was thinking and how could he do that to me. He said she grew up and that's allowed and we should be willing to give her a chance. I walked out. My parents and brother were upset at my refusal to give her a chance and asked why I wanted to upset our family. Okay, let me pause. Out of all the people in the world, he had to pick that one? I don't know. And then it seemingly didn't warn OP or like say anything that the girl was going to be coming. I feel like maybe that would have been better than just showing up. And so maybe if she could have been eased into it, or maybe if the girl was able to have a conversation with OP so then everyone could know like whether or not she really changed. I mean, I do believe in giving people like second chances and people grow, etc. But just to begin with, I wouldn't want to be associated with someone who so egregiously like hurt my sibling like that. She was stalking her and then she started at age 12, continued into college until age 20. She was harassing her and bullying her for 8 years, to the point where she was stalking her and almost got thrown out of college. That's serious. And the family knew about it. And so then the brother chooses her out of all people. They said my sister walked out after calling this girl all sorts of names and making it clear she saw her as a terrible person and someone who couldn't be a good person. Right. She also called our brother out for having no family loyalty and said his member is clearly all he really cares about. My relationship with my brother and parents hardly exists now. I have seen them 4 times since that day. Oh, so that was like so they're still together after some time. They have reached out via phone, but I made it clear I had no desire to mend things with that girl, and I saw it as a betrayal toward me to accept her and expect me to treat her as family. My sister has stood beside me. She is also mostly estranged from our parents and brother. The last time I saw them was in June at a family birthday party. During a quiet moment, my brother told me he was getting married and our parents were standing by to jump in. Oh gosh. I told him to save himself the money inviting me because I won't be attending, and I walked away. So where the issue comes in, the most popular local florist is my best friend's mom. She's known to have a special package for friends and family for weddings, etc. One piece in particular she only does for people she's close to. My brother and his fiance want her to be the florist for their wedding, and they want the bonuses of the special package. But they don't have a good relationship with her. However, I do. So my brother called me up. I ignored his call. So he sent a text asking me to do a favor and ask about the special package for them. I said no and told him to leave me alone. He reached out again and asked. My parents then got involved. I told them I wanted nothing to do with this wedding and would never help make the day special for them. I was told I had taken all of this too far and a small favor should not be such a big deal. That I am ruining these relationships and will one day regret it over something so small. Am I the a-hole? Nope. I mean, if it's really something so small, they can go to another florist. He chose to marry his sister's bully. She's choosing not to help with the florist. We all make choices in life and we all have to deal with the outcome of those choices. Seems quite simple to me. She's not even going to the wedding and you want her to help out with the flowers? No. She's already set her boundary about how she wants to interact with the family. No. Sherbet Annual says, not the a-hole, but it might be worth it to call the florist if you're close enough and say you're not referring your brother for any special deal for his wedding if he calls and says you are. If this sheds your brother in a worse light to the florist, it would be a real shame if she decided she couldn't do the flowers for their wedding at all. Just saying. Queen Red said, the freaking audacity. You aren't close to being the a-hole at all. The fact that your brother and parents are choosing a person who traumatized you says a lot. Just because someone changed doesn't mean you have to or should forgive them and treat them like family. And in all honesty, it doesn't sound like she attempted to apologize, which once again says a lot. And if she does apologize, it doesn't mean you have to forgive her, and it doesn't make you a bad person. That was my thing. Like, has she had a conversation with OP from when she was 20 to now? She just showed up to the house and like expected to be accepted. The whole thing is weird. Like, how are you saying she's changed, but she hasn't like had a conversation with OP or anything? And then the parents are just readily accepting. The whole thing is just odd to me. Edit and side note, I'm more disappointed in the parents than the brother. Like, I can't imagine being a parent and opening my arms to a person who bullied my child. I feel like as parents, they could have been neutral to the brother and girlfriend. Let it be known to him that they don't like the person he chose to date, knowing how that person treated his sister, but they know they can't control who he decided to be with, and that she is and will be on thin ice. Catnap also says, have either of these people ever attempted to apologize to you? A real apology, acknowledging with specifics the harm and hurt they inflicted on you? It is not a small favor to ask you to use your influence and good reputation to gain special consideration they wouldn't otherwise be entitled to. And that's even with the fact that you have pretty good reasons to refuse doing even small favors for them, not the a-hole. Someone said her behavior seems obsessive. Could she have chosen OP's brother specifically to bully OP further and ultimately by turning OP's family against them? Ooh, that would be an angle. Low key, that might be. Because OP says she was stalking her. And this sounds very much like those other stalking cases where people will befriend the family or friends in order to get to like their intended target. What if this is all like just a part of the girl's plan? That would be crazy. Oh, wow. Yeah, someone said, yes, the whole stalking to the point of almost getting expelled from college is a whole issue that takes this far beyond kids bullying kids. This girl has OP living rent-free in her head, and it's dictating more life choices than the girl herself is probably aware of. Wow. Someone else said, this is what I was thinking. She deliberately targeted the brother, and he was idiot enough to fall for it. And apparently, the parents fell right in with it. That would be crazy. That's probably true. Honestly, that sounds very plausible. So this person's account is suspended, so there is no update or anything. This was a couple days ago, so hopefully we do get an update. But wow, this whole situation is just wild. Let's go to the next one. This one does have an update. Bridesmaid-zilas. My friend is getting married next month, and her bachelorette party is next weekend. I feel so bad for her. Her maid of honor dropped out of the wedding. Her sister hasn't helped pay for any of the expenses for her bachelorette party, and her cousin has gone MIA and doesn't even have her bridesmaid's dress yet. Anytime the bride tries to bring it up by messaging our group chat on Facebook Messenger, the other bridesmaids, besides myself and one other, completely ignore her and mark themselves as offline. I talked to the bride this past weekend and she was in tears. My own finances are drying up, but I can't drop out of this wedding or the bride will have nobody. I feel so bad. To me, it sounds like a red flag that all these people are dropping out. Like if it was just one person or even like two people, but her own sister. First of all, does the sister have to pay for bachelorette party expenses? Like, why would she be the only one having to help pay for the expenses? From my understanding, for a bachelorette party, like everyone kind of chips in equally from the ones that I've attended. And then her own maid of honor dropped out of the wedding. That says a lot. Someone who you choose to be like your right-hand person during your wedding time drops out. And then the other cousin, these are people who are close to her, who know her better than some of the other people in her lives, dropping out, not being willing to help. It's just, to me, it's sounding like a red flag that maybe the bride is not as nice as, I don't know. There's an edit on this and then an update. So let me read the comments first. The first comment says, that's 3 out of 4 people dropping out, if I'm counting correctly. It seems the bride is having unrealistic expectations. Right. Someone said, is it possible that they weren't willing to have their finances dry up and don't want to be a part of the bachelorette party? No one should have to go into debt to fund a vacation that's completely unnecessary for a bride. Maybe the cousin can't afford the dress that the bride has chosen, and sometimes when these things have been expressed to the bride enough and she's just not listening, ignoring her is the only way to get your point across. Someone responded, this is probably the correct answer, OP. If the bride expects you to spend money you don't have on her wedding, she probably expects the whole bridal party to spend money they don't have. And other people's weddings are never a financial priority. Right. You're the only one who isn't fighting back against the bride's expectations and it's breaking your bank. Someone else said her sister doesn't owe her money for a bachelorette party. If she can't afford it, the bride should downsize the bachelorette party. And Violet Daisy says, so 2 relatives and presumably best friend maid of honor have all gone MIA in a short period of time with no public reason why. 9 times out of 10, it points to the bride or groom or their families did something to these 3 women. The chances of all 3 suddenly becoming flaky or MIA, if they weren't previously like this, is insanely low. But the bride was so upset. You didn't see her. She couldn't be faking it or acting, and she probably wasn't. But if it is her or her husband or their family's fault, she's probably crying that whatever behavior caused this isn't being fixed for her day. Okay, well, so the edit says, myself and the bride's new maid of honor did talk with the bride. We found cheaper alternatives to the bridesmaids' dresses that she wanted. The bachelorette party is a weekend at her house instead of 4 days at a beach hotel. We're making a lot of food for it and only doing 1 night at a restaurant. We made a lot of these changes months ago, but the other bridesmaids still aren't interested in helping. The bride also gave all of her bridesmaids the disclaimer that if they do not want to be bridesmaids or if they cannot afford it, to please tell her so that she can replace them or try to help them. None of them said that they can't afford it. They agreed to being bridesmaids and now haven't been doing anything. The bride gave them plenty of opportunities to be honest with her. I was honest with her. I told her that I can't do a 4-day bachelorette party, and she accommodated me. I mean, I could be wrong. It just seems a little odd that 3 of her closest people in her life have dropped out of her wedding, which is like one of the most important events in her life. So there's an update. Okay, Bridesmaid-zilas update. After experiencing my bride's bachelorette weekend, I am understanding why the other bridesmaids get upset with the bride. Just to vent my frustration, the bride is selfish and does not care about her friends. She took us to a very dangerous nightclub in a dangerous city, not naming the city for obvious reasons. She danced all night and willingly left her drunken friends unattended. Thankfully, myself and 1 other bridesmaid stayed sober the entire time. One of our friends was wasted and almost left the club with the guy she just met. Oh, wow. She was 3 hours away from home and had a 10-month-old daughter at home waiting for her. I didn't want to leave her side, but the bride pretty much made me because I was not having fun and ruining the vibe. Oh, what? That's crazy. Anytime I go out, like with me and all my girls, we nobody is left behind ever. We're always checking like, oh, where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? Making sure, even if there's a guy who wants to talk to a friend, like we always keep them within our eye line, like making sure everybody's, we all come together, we all leave together. Nobody gets left behind. But for her to be acting like this, that's crazy. Like, her friend really could have gotten seriously harmed. I danced one dance with her, went back to check on our friend, and our friend was gone. We found her, and thankfully she didn't leave yet, but she was about to. I could kick myself for leaving her side for even 1 minute. Wow, that's so dangerous. Another girl almost got into a car that was not our Uber. Thankfully, the other sober girl noticed because the bride sure didn't, neither did she care. I almost didn't make it to the bachelorette party at all because I have a 4-month-old daughter and had trouble finding a sitter. The bride suggested bringing her and taking my car instead of an Uber. Great idea, sitting outside of a dangerous club in a bad neighborhood with a 4-month-old in the car. How considerate of her. I did find a sitter, which is the only reason I went. I never would have done that in my wildest dreams. I am so angry that after the wedding next month, I might disappear on her. 2 of our friends almost disappeared with strange men who could have been very harmful people for all she knew, and she didn't care. She suggested I bring my baby as long as it means getting me to her party. I am so angry, I'm fuming. TLDR, not asking for advice, just venting. Someone said, just curious, after the bride showed her true colors and how little she cares about her friends, why are you still participating in the wedding? OP said, I already bought the dress and all of the accessories for it. Plus, my mother-in-law lives in the same area where she's having the wedding. My husband and I are using that as an opportunity to visit his parents. So you could say we have ulterior motives. Someone responded, I would drop out. The bride is not your friend. It sounds like she isn't anyone's friend. You can sell the dress and accessories online. Then you and your husband can just spend all your time with his parents and treat it like a mini vacation. Opie said, the more I dwell on what happened, the more tempting that idea sounds. I'll probably talk about it with my husband. He's pretty upset about this whole thing too. So is my mom, who watched my daughter. My mom has already suggested I drop out of the wedding, so it's something to consider. Yeah, sis, like the fact that her own sister, maid of honor, and cousin pretty much want nothing to do with the wedding is, who are you to just stick around? I mean, I don't know what your relation is to her, but I wouldn't be participating in this. Someone said, why aren't you mad at the bridesmaids for getting so drunk that they were doing horrifically dangerous and stupid things? Opie said, I'm mad at them too, and I let them know it. But most of my rage is at the bride. Even after sobering up, she didn't seem to care all that much that she brought them somewhere dangerous and endangered them. She also pushes people to drink and keep drinking. The difference between me and them is that I know how to say no. Yeah, this whole thing doesn't sound like a good situation. I wonder if she went to, actually, let me see. I wonder if she ended up going, or if if it's happened yet. No, she doesn't have any update on this. So let's go to the next story. This one was actually cross-posted to our subreddit. So, am I the a-hole for telling my future mother-in-law not to come to the wedding if she doesn't change her outfit? I, 26 female, am getting married to my fiance, 26 male, in a few months' time. I offered to go shopping with my future mother-in-law for her outfit as she only has sons, and I thought this would be a fun thing to experience together. She turned me down and decided to go with a friend instead. We had multiple conversations about what kind of outfit she would end up with, and specifically spoke about how I wasn't okay with guests wearing white or ivory, as in my eyes, this is something that should be reserved for the bride. I think everyone pretty much knows that rule, and if you don't, you don't wear white to a wedding unless you're the bride, and unless they specifically request that. I have seen where the whole, like, that was the required color, but typically, like, you don't wear white to a wedding. She went shopping for her outfit yesterday and sent me photographs of so many beautiful outfits that she tried on while she was still in the store. I answered right away, and we were texting the whole time. I should probably mention that none of these outfits are white or ivory. Yesterday evening, I checked in to see if she had been successful and she then sent a photograph of the outfit she had bought, asking what I thought of it. It was not one of the photos she had already sent, and the dress is white. Girl, that's why she didn't want you to go with her shopping. She ain't got no business trying on no white dresses. The store she bought it from is not cheap and doesn't offer refunds or returns, which I know from shopping there previously. I was furious. I spoke with my fiance and he agreed with me that it seemed she had purposefully been deceitful because the dress is white. We agreed that the dress is lovely, but that the color is crossing a line. I haven't responded to mother-in-law yet, as I don't really know what to say. I don't want to be a bridezilla, but at the same time, this is a boundary that I had established before she went looking for an outfit. My fiance has spoken to mother-in-law. He hasn't mentioned my feelings about the dress, but she has told him that she doesn't think I like it. When he asked her why she thought that, she stopped answering. Like, girl, you know why? You know why she doesn't like it. Would I be the a-hole if I tell her she can't wear the dress to our wedding? So there's an edit, but let me look at the comments first. Not the a-hole. What your fiance needs to do is ask to see the dress, and then he tells her it's inappropriate to wear white. His mom, his issue. He can be a big boy and take care of this for you. I agree with that approach. I was gonna say, I think that's the best way to do it, like not even involve OP or anything like that, because it seems as if the mom is trying, I don't know what she's trying to do, trying to get a rise out of OP or trying to be like the main character. I don't know. Seems as if she's trying to do something nefarious, and so her son needs to be the one to handle it. Someone responded to that, yep, he needs to handle it. Mom, we want you to look great at our wedding, but white is just a no-go color. It might look like you were marrying me, which would totally be gross and ruin the day for me. That's a good response. Someone else said, absolutely. He should also add, it is also a well-known fact that you don't wear white or ivory to weddings where the bride is wearing white. Do you want people to gossip about you behind your back? People like your mother-in-law can't stand being talked about. Another person says, great idea. Make it that you're helping her to not be embarrassed instead of telling her off. My idea was to just assume she's planning to dye it and ask her what color. You could put the two together. Awesome. What color are you dyeing it? Oh, you're not? Oh, Mom, that's gonna be really embarrassing. Those are all good ideas. Oh wow, someone said, I know it's not a personal experience story, but the other day, some video was shared on Reddit of a woman being shown on a dance floor at a wedding in a white dress dancing. Then it cuts to the person making the video who says, that isn't the bride, that's a guest. She then shows the actual bride and the guest near her. It was such a what the F moment, like full-on wedding dress, not even just a white colored dress. The Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of the Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of a bitch like mother-in-law to have done this. She didn't want to go with OP because she knew she'd do this, in my opinion. And of course, it's from a store where you can't do refunds. The Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this bitch. Yeah, well, pretty much everyone's saying not the a-hole, and the husband or the fiance needs to handle his mom. So she made an edit. For those of you suggesting I change my dress, it's already bought, so that's not an option. And first of all, why would the bride have to change her wedding dress? Who said that? We also don't have many guests as we're keeping things small. And as my bridesmaids are not wearing white, there are only 2 or 3 other women coming to the wedding, so suggesting they wear white also isn't going to pay off. Those are terrible suggestions. Who suggested that? Is there an update? No. There is an extra comment though. She said, it's worth mentioning that my fiance is 100% on my side, but we are just uncertain whether this is a battle worth having. I don't want her to think she can do what she likes and I won't care, because what sort of precedent does that set for the future? But also, she has accused me of being controlling about other wedding plans, like going suit shopping with my fiance because he asked me to. And I feel like she is wanting to add fuel to the fire by getting me to veto the dress. Again, you need to have your fiance handle this. She's definitely starting problems. If you concede to her now, you're gonna have a lifetime of this. So you need to get that in line at the beginning. All right, so next story. This one has a lot of updates. There is a trigger warning for controlling behavior, accusations of fat phobia, and disregard of dietary needs. Am I the a-hole for flipping out on my fiance for canceling all the vegan food options from our wedding food menu behind my back? My fiance, 31 male, and I, 25 female, are getting married soon. There wasn't much that we disagreed on during the wedding planning except for food. Me and my family are vegans, and there are so many reasons why we choose this lifestyle, and one of them being that we have a history of health issues. However, when deciding on the wedding food menu, I wanted to add 4 to 5 vegan options. My fiance and his mom objected, saying it was a waste of money over food that isn't real food. They also argued that this would be offensive for their guests and suggested my vegan options just be the good old salads and appetizers. What? I'm having a hard time thinking why this would be an issue just to have vegan stuff. If the other guests don't want it, they can just not eat it. But then, like, on the other hand, the vegan people won't, like, I feel like each side should have an equal amount of options for both. Just doing a good old salad, as they say, is not, I don't think that's fair. They should also be able to have some options. Why would it be offensive if there's not? Because even the meat eaters can still also eat the vegan options. His mom wanted cupcakes, LOL. I said no because, for one, it's me and my family who are paying, and two, I want to make my guests feel welcome and not be treated as second-class citizens by being served salad. My fiance made a face and said, "Isn't that what vegans eat?" I refused to argue about it and said it was final. Wait a minute. How long have y'all been together? Are you also a vegan? You're also a vegan, so your fiance sees what you eat every day, presumably. Where is the disconnect? I'm confused. He should know what you eat every day. He knows you don't eat salads every single day like you only eat salad. So why is this such a issue? How long have y'all been together? I don't know if you should be marrying this man. The other day, I found out that he had canceled all the vegan options and took them off the menu completely and behind my back. I was seething. I called him at work, but he kept hanging up on me. I went straight to his workplace and confronted him there and just flipped out on him. He was stunned to see me. He at first said it was his mom's idea, then told me to go home because I was making a scene at the office. The fight continued at home, and he defended himself by saying that I sort of made him resort to doing this after I kept brushing off his thoughts and input and refusing to accommodate his family. What? But there are plenty of meat options. Why can't I get 4 to 5 vegan options when I'm paying for it? He yelled that it was his wedding too, not my family's. My family said it was fine and they'll figure it out and told me to let it go, but I refused. Am I the a-hole for putting my foot down on this? Not the a-hole, and what's going on with the fiance? I just don't understand. His family has options. There would just be including vegan options for the people who don't eat meat. It's simple. And then the fact that he's allowing his mother to influence his decisions. This is not between you, your fiance, and your mother. This is just between you and your fiance. This is y'all's wedding. And then to go behind her back and change what they had already previously agreed to, this is a red flag, and I wouldn't be, I need to get a red flag prop. I wouldn't be marrying this man, or we'd have to push the wedding out or something. So there are some comments, and then I'll go to the update. Someone said, not the a-hole. Are you sure you want to marry this man and his family? They have no respect at all for you and yours. Opie said, frankly, I have no idea why his mom feels so strongly about getting involved. I only included her in wedding planning because I respect her, but I guess it's like they say, give an inch and they'll take a mile. Someone else said, info, how many options are there in total? So like 4 to 5 non-vegan and 4 to 5 vegan, meaning 8 to 10 options for meals? Is this a buffet or a restaurant reception? Or is this a multi-course menu? And so there is essentially one vegan meal with 4 to 5 courses. Not the a-hole, because he did this behind your back without talking to you, but I'm wondering why he cares what other people eat. Also, he's the a-hole for claiming he doesn't know what vegans eat. You're vegan. He knows you eat more than salad. Exactly. I feel like I'm having a stroke reading this. What the heck? Opie said, aside from the vegan, we have 6 options with meat. His mom picked 1. I'm paying for the whole thing. Wait, you paying for the whole wedding too? Listen. Someone else said, if you marry him, this is the rest of your life. He will do whatever his mom says when it comes to your kids and managing your life. So let me read the first update on the original post. Update, so his mom messaged me earlier to try to get me to listen to what she had to say after I kept ignoring her phone calls. She spent long walls of text just to address what I did at her son's workplace, calling it all kinds of stuff from immature to unhinged. She then went to explain how she's noticed that me and my family kept acting dismissive of her son's input and contributions to the wedding. She said that she noticed my behavior towards him and her entire family and wanted to speak up earlier, but didn't and tried to keep the peace. She then went on to address the food menu issues and denied her involvement in the cancellation of the vegan option, but that she didn't mean she doesn't support her son's decision. Moreover, she thought it was so responsible of him to make that move because of my continual refusal to see how this stuff is a waste of money. Girl, what? No. Y'all need to get this mother-in-law out of your business or your marriage is not going to last. She also pointed out how I kept saying I paid for it and said that technically this isn't just my money, it's mine and his because we're getting married. She suggested I wisen up and get rid of my money, I paid for it mentality. No. Ma'am, they aren't married yet. It is her money. Also, you don't know what they have decided about how they're going to split up the finances after they get married. Why is she so much in their business? You in my business, don't do that. She finally mentioned how bad this whole situation is making me look and said that she and her son had already offered a number of compromises that I chose to brush off and decided to make it my weird hill to die on. She said that not only her son is upset, but she and the family are as well after hearing about it and suggested I just agree on their compromise and be done with it. This pissed me off beyond belief. I responded by letting her know that I'm still standing my ground on this, even if I'll have to call the whole wedding off because of it, because honestly, this is just ridiculous. It is. My mom and dad, they don't even know what to say anymore. Apparently, my fiance saw my response to her, he's with her, and is now trying to call me, but right now I'm waiting on him to get home and see if he's still insisting on the stance he took. I'll update if there's anything worth adding after we talk. What is going on with this mother-in-law? Girl, just let it go. Just let it go, sis. Y'all, I'm sure y'all had some good years together, but this is not it. This is not it. The mom is way too much in the business. She almost sounds like a narcissist. I know people overly use that word, but this is not it. There's an update a week later. So the talk didn't go well. I waited for him to come home so we could have a final conversation about it, but he still insisted on his stance. For more details, his family are a bit on the heavy side. Nothing wrong with it. They're perfectly within their right to decide how to live, but they get easily offended at the mention of the words weight and food. I tried so hard to focus on the issue at hand, but I noticed there was a pattern of this behavior. He said it wasn't true and that this was just an attempt for me to throw past conflicts at him in order to win the current one. He claimed he tried to reason with me about why and how his guests might see those vegan options as offensive, also said that his family loved food and consider it a big deal, and how he didn't want his family to feel like there are certain options that they couldn't touch and feel that there's a difference in how I treat them versus how I treat my family. Why wouldn't they be able to touch the vegan options? It's literal food. He then went on to explain how it's just an event and how my family should just accept what's on the menu, and if they felt an inconvenience, so what? So you want them to be inconvenienced but not you. So you don't think it's fair to just have an equal amount of meat options as well as vegan options. That doesn't make any sense. If they felt an inconvenience, so what? It's just a one-time thing and they're not gonna die if they had salad and appetizers. What he said wasn't good enough reason for me, because his folks are gonna think and say what they want, but at the end of the day, it's my wedding. And to be honest, realizing that my partner himself thinks it's okay to steamroll my opinions and decisions simply because he's prioritizing others and their opinions over me was really upsetting and not something that could be looked past. Normally, I'm a person of rational discussions and compromises. I'm all about compromises. I'd compromised on much bigger matters than just food, but like people said, it's not about the food anymore, if it ever was. Like, he'd literally lose nothing if he let me have what I wanted, but apparently he was willing to lose it all over this, which is fine by me. I gave him back the ring and called everything off. I just couldn't envision myself living like this any longer, having to walk on eggshells for his family and letting him basically override my opinions and have the final say no matter what. Marriage is about compromise, and here he has nothing to lose yet and chose to do this to me and my family. Mind you, this is my first serious relationship and I didn't know what to expect, but it's safe to say that he and his mom and family did make it feel like I was taking crazy pills on many occasions, so that's that. Last thing he said was that I chose my family over him and ended everything between us for the sake of keeping them happy. Decisions have been made and it's done. I just wanted to give an update to those who wanted it. Thank you so much for your endless stream of advice and support. I'm glad she called it off because that was a mess. Deleted says, good for you. Marriage is about compromise, and it doesn't sound like your ex is interested in compromising or even letting you have a say in things. That isn't a partnership. And Opie said, thank you, and you're right. Honestly, I felt kind of hesitant about posting an update. In fact, I was hesitant about posting my situation as a whole. Normally, I'm not the type to share my private business online, but I was desperate. Like I said, there were times where his family made me feel like I was taking crazy pills. Honestly, and I'm gonna say this anyway, I hate them. Oh man. They always made me feel like an outsider and a stranger, never really warmed up to me, and instead pretended to like me, but it was obvious they resented me. They claim that I'm a covert fat phobic, but in reality, I got mocked, along with my family, for being underweight due to health issues I'd mentioned before. Don't even get me started on ex-future mother-in-law, though I feel as though I have to let it all out and vent. Someone else said, you go girl, dude 100% laid out a roadmap where only his opinion matters and yours is irrelevant. This probably wasn't the first time, but it for sure would not be the last. And Opie said, exactly. Like I said, I'd noticed a pattern of his behavior, but kept rationalizing it, which was a huge mistake on my part. It's been utter torture trying to please him and his family. I'm an emotional mess right now, but there's this little voice of reassurance telling me I've gone through the worst and survived it. I'm so thankful this happened. It helped me see things clearer. Yeah, that sounded like a mess. Like him not communicating, making decisions behind your back, having the mother be overly involved, not having things be fair on both sides, telling you just to get over it and let them do. No, I'm glad you got out of that. That would have been it. All right, so We are going to the last read of the video. This will be our palette cleanser. So just make sure that you are subscribed. We are on the road to 10K. Yay! So, with that being said, let's go to the last read of the video. A beautiful young lady paid for my dryer time at the laundromat today. I put my washing in a dryer and it ate my money and didn't work. A young lady tried paying with her app, but the dryer was dead. I moved my washing to another dryer and she put enough money in it to get my load dry. It was so sweet. I tried to give her the money, but she refused. I'm truly touched by how kind she was. If she sees this, thank you so much. That is so sweet. Short and sweet. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.